was watching Dateline. At least I know that I'm playing music that I have to worry about. Like when she was watching the Jennifer Lopez thing and it kept turning to music. Okay, baby. Okay. We're gonna eat. Yum yum. He already went the pee pee poo poo. And as it's been for months and months and months, we've been the good doo-doos. Nice solid. Even one of the neighbors commented on your nice bowel movement. Anyone who has pets. I don't know if she has pets, but anyway, she probably does. Who knows? She'd have a lesson. Anyone who has pets knows. Bowel movements are the key. We get nice, solid bowel movements as a pet owner. We're happy. There we go, baby. Yeah. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum. This is what's called a cordless water pick advanced. Cordless water pick advanced. It has what's known as a magnetic charger. That. I couldn't figure this out. I didn't understand. I never dealt with anything like this, but it goes just like that. Oops. This is probably not going to work. No. Come on. It charges like that. It's a magnetic charger. Now, people were saying it can overcharge, but that's not true. I was reading all about it on its own site, on Waterpick site, and it has a smart technology. They might have been talking about a different water charger, but Waterpick, it's got a Waterpick flosser advanced, something like that. And I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't even know if it's gonna work. That's what my dental hygienist told me she uses. She's like, it's not as strong, but you know, it has the other types of convenience. You can use it in the shower, but people say that it's hard to get that reservoir off. I don't know. Like anything, there are people who love it and people who hate it. They say it can get moldy, but I've found everything can. Everything can get moldy. Everything has these nooks and crannies. Even covers to my nice glass rice cooker. You can't even get it clean. The cover to it. Inside the crack, you can't reach that with anything. It's all sealed tight, and yet it gets gross in there. So we're always having stuff like that. The NutriBullet that I love, they get gross on parts that are in between that you can't even get clean. But this thing, they say this turns moldy in certain spots, but they recommend the water reservoir won't be washed in the top rack of the dishwasher as long as you turn off the drying feature. But also they recommend running vinegar solution through your thing to clean it. They say you should do that like weekly or something. I don't know. I know that I thought that it wasn't working. It's supposed to have an indicator light. So I don't think it's working. I think sitting for 4 years and not being used at all, you know, rendered it not working. That means I have to invest. If you don't behave, you're not going to eat. The way you're behaving, I can't even feed you. You're too restless, too whatever you want to call it. Omar, you have to sit up and be polite. I can't even feed you like this. I don't trust that you're not going to bite me when you're behaving like this. Now sit up, and eat politely. Polite. Yeah, polite. Polite. I know it's your first meal in several hours, but that's how it usually is. I did feed you after midnight last night, and now it's midnight now, so it's 12 hours, but that's because you were sleeping. You actually slept in bed with me. Not right away. I was so tired I couldn't move, and he was being restless. I took him out a couple of times to pee, and then I just had to have him sleep with me. In fact, I slept sitting up in my bed because he didn't want to lay beside me, but he would fall asleep on my lap. And then when he's exhausted, I got him to the side so I could really. Is that good? You gotta sit up, baby. You're defeating the whole purpose of doing this if you're sideways. You have to sit up. You have to sit up, my love. You gotta sit up. You have to be polite. You gotta be polite. Sit up. Polite, polite, gentle, gentle. So we got the thing fixed. It wasn't outside after all. It was the TV box went. I thought it was how could both TVs go at the same time because I didn't understand the whole concept of it, but it turns out that the main box was in my mom's room. It used to be, when they first did it, wireless, and you had no choice but to have that, and it had to do with my modem in here. But when I moved out, there was no internet, so they needed to do it all separate, and that's why. It wasn't coincidence that they both went at the same time. It turns out if anything happens to my mom, I said, it wasn't anything we did, right? She's like, no, the box just went, and that's what happened. It had nothing to do with the storm, nothing to do with outside. He replaced the box in my mom's room, and now both TVs working fine. I missed Inside Edition Monday. I saw it last night. And as usual, mind-blowing, some parts of it. We're already aware that women sometimes end up dying dead as a doornail for beauty, because even the best of plastic surgeons can botch something. However, it's far less likely. That's the thing. It's far less likely for the best of so really, if we want to be blunt here, unless you can afford a good plastic surgeon, you should just accept whatever makes you unhappy about your looks. Because these 3 young kids and this grieving husband, he doesn't have his wife, young, in her 30s. And they don't have their mom because she decided to run off to Mexico. I've heard horror stories like this before. She decided to run off to Mexico, and a specific spot actually, and I forget the name of it, but and get really cheap plastic surgery. And the fact is, it's just like that guy who decided, it's no different. To me, it's no different. It's stupid deaths. It's like, if it's extremely low cost compared to how it is here in the United States, plastic surgery, even not even a great plastic surgeon, then you're not gonna, you are really taking the chances with your life. Like, so sad. She's dead. This is what happened. She's fucking dead. She ran off like too many people, United States citizens, women, I gotta stress it's mostly women. She apparently had a botched breast surgery years ago and wanted to fix it. So while she's there, she also decided Who knows how low cost it is? Again, you get what you pay for. I feel bad for her, but she did this to herself, okay? If you can't afford plastic surgery here where you are, and a decent one, you don't get it. It's that simple. You don't run off to anyhow. Because they're going to cut. They don't care. They're a different country, and they're going to cut costs wherever they can. I've heard horror stories like this that didn't end in the person's death. It ended in just in them being deformed and permanently and having to have tons of surgery here anyway just to fix what had happened. Ending up in the hospital, they said, whatever. This woman's dead. Dead. So this is what happened. She decided to get not just the breast lift or whatever she was getting. Whatever it was. I forget, but it was something to do with her breast. Fixed the botched breast surgery from years ago, okay? And while she's there, let's throw in a Brazilian butt lift and liposuction, okay? Now, she got out of surgery. She filmed the whole thing. We have her filmed all excited, flying there, filmed after the surgery, smiling, happy. For about 3 weeks, she was okay at home. Suddenly, she starts getting excruciating migraines, okay? And it all went downhill from there. All went downhill. She was dead, like, quickly. What happened was, due to unsterile conditions, the anesthesia, either when they're injecting the anesthesia into her spinal cord or whatever, there was unsterile instruments, unsterile injecting the anesthesia. Bottom line is, she contracted fungal meningitis. And they are now monitoring 217 other United States citizens who went to that same plastic surgery in that same area in Mexico, in the same place. And they're monitoring 217 other people to see if they contracted fungal meningitis. She's dead for beauty. I get it. I said for decades, back when I was dancing on the Earth channel when I was 30, okay? I said for decades that I wanted, I would love to have a not an augmentation, but a lift, okay? A lift. I was looking to have bigger, just looking to have more perky or whatever, okay? But I wouldn't do it. I don't condemn anyone who does, but I do condemn, in quotations, anyone stupid enough to fly off to another country to do it, okay? Because it's so low cost. Even here, doing it, if it's really low cost, there's something, they've got to cut costs somehow, okay? I heard horror stories where the person, and this was even a more reputable plastic surgeon, I guess, but not a really good one, because, only the stars, the rich people, maybe even not necessarily stars, but the rich can afford decent plastic surgery. We have a chance in hell of surviving it, of have it not be botched. It could still be botched. Look what happened, I guess, to Tara Reid. And then I don't think she went to a really bad one, if she was a famous, in quotations, actress, whatever. But, you take your fucking chances, though. When it's so low cost, it's ridiculous, and you're running off to another country. Nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to... The sad thing is, people are still going to do it. Die for beauty. It's not going to happen to me. Take your chances. She was so happy. She was filming it, and she's dead. Okay? And if she gets over on the other side, you died because of because of your physical appearance. You wanted to look better. And then that kid jumping in the water, he's dead because he was dared to jump in the water. I mean, in the Bahamas or something. Ridiculous. I just find it all insane. I understand not like, I know, like I said, my little boobies look good in a bra, but they are all natural. They are in this McCall bra. McCall usually runs a little smaller, so I wouldn't be in this size, in like probably a different size kind of bra, but this is a 34 or 36 double day or triple day, I don't know, it's double or triple. And even though in the taupe, TAUP8, the taupe one, that I loved, fit me perfectly, this is the same damn size, just in a different color, and didn't fit me quite the same. But again, that's common. That's common. You can buy the identical thing in a different color and it should fit you the same, one would think, and it doesn't happen. Anyway, you have to accept the things that you don't like about yourself, unless you really can afford to fix them and have a chance in hell of surviving intact, of not becoming extremely ill or even dead as a doornail, like that young mother in her 30s. Three young kids. I don't know. And her husband says exactly what she says. Don't do it. Husband has a warning for everyone. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. He'd rather have his wife with her flaws than not have his wife and mother to his kids at all. Okay? But I get it. Get it. Said I was to say if I ever had money, but I never wound up having any money, so. And then as the years went by, I was like, no, too much. I wouldn't do it. Too much of a risk. I was looking at the non-invasive, not as invasive, not in non-invasive kind, and they say it's called a feather lift, and they say it doesn't really work that well. But I was intrigued by that because you don't go under anesthesia. You just you wear it. It might work a little bit. You have to be a candidate for it. The fact is, your breasts can look good as a woman in a bra and not look all so hot outside the bra. It's the bra is for. But anyway, this woman's dead. That's the bottom line. She's dead. She's gone. And she suffered horribly before dying. And she knew she did it to herself, for beauty. So it's a message, and her husband gave that warning, but it's only gonna go out to the women. It might save a life, though. That's the thing. It might save a life. We hear about these weird things happening, and people still risk it. That kid risked jumping in shark-infested waters. He's probably drunk. Now they're saying they think it wasn't a shark, possibly. An expert was saying, I don't think it's a shark. He might have hit his head and no one realized it. But bottom line, he's dead. Doesn't really matter. 18, just graduated, has his own life ahead of him, and he's dead. Whatever killed him, he died from jumping in that water. Could have died from a shark, could have died from something else, but he was gone. And that's it. It's stories like that have me thinking always, But it is mostly women who get the plastic surgery, and we all know why. I've known people that didn't have money, and they're like, but if I won the lottery, everyone's won the lottery. I've never been a won the lottery type. Oh, I would do this or that if I won the lottery. You're not going to win the lottery. Why fantasize about that? That's how they get everybody. Oh, I would do this to myself and that and this and that and that. Just have to accept what you don't like because you're not going to win the lottery and you don't have the money to do anything else, just like I don't. there are people, if they have good credit, they can put it all on their credit card and then I also thought about that sauna, that whatever that is, that other thing. I think that's across the United States, sauna bella, or it's that's where you don't go under too, and they do something that for it's an alternative to liposuction that doesn't use go under anesthesia. I'd be interested in knowing the percentage of people that die for beauty, that die even not running off to Mexico and getting really low-cost procedures. I mean, and you think that everything's going to go fine. It's fucking surgery. You hate your looks that much, you just want to improve your looks that way, you're just stupid. It's plastic surgery is one of the, you know what I mean? You're going under anesthesia. You're having your body all sliced. And you're going to do low cost and and take your chances. And when you have 3 young kids and a husband who loves you and wants you around. Anyhow, they're monitoring 217 other women, or they said people, but probably women, who did the same thing. To see if they come down. It's obviously, it's no cure. There's nothing you can do. You just die. It's fungal meningitis. And Deborah Norville pointed out that unlike other meningitis, it's not contagious. It does fucking kill you though. And you know, it's it. So there you have it. I guess there's no cure. There's no cure for this woman, either. Anyway, and she didn't have long to live. She enjoyed her new looks for, it said 3 weeks or some ridiculously short thing, and then her husband said she started having excruciating migraines, and it went downhill from there. And it's too late, and you did it to yourself. You died pursuing improvements in your looks. You're not the first one, and you'll hardly be the last one. I don't care, even the top surgeon, there can be complications. Even if you're a superstar movie star or superstar singer, you know, whatever, just filthy rich in general without being famous, there can be complications where you end up with a botched surgery if you're lucky, and if you're not, you could die on the table. You could die afterwards. You could die from complications. But far less likely when you have a top-notch surgeon. So you can't afford that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm helping that grieving husband and grieving children, you know, spread the message. I forget how old they were. They weren't babies. They were babies. She was in her 30s. I forget how old they were, but they weren't babies, and they lost their mom. It's sad. And it's a different country. We don't have jurisdiction. They're not gonna. We've heard it happen before. They're not gonna be punished. You know, you know what I mean. You just take your chances doing that low cost thing. You know, like really, really inexpensive. You get what you pay for. I just don't understand people. But I know. In a lot of ways, I don't understand myself. So, you know, there you go. I'm part of my mental illness is obsessiveness, and I can't let stuff go. And I'm still upset over that whole grocery store thing because I would still be going to that store, just avoiding that asshole, both of them, just avoiding them. But unfortunately, I have a temper, and when I called an hour later, and because Joe says you got to get their names, their last names, All that manager had to say to me was, I called up politely and I said, can you please give me the name, the last name of so-and-so, because I had his first name, and your last name. What's this all about? If he had just given it to me politely, I would have hung up. But he's like, what's this all about? Blah, blah, blah. And then I repeated it, and then he got mad at me. And then he's saying, well, he said, this isn't your first altercation with him. It's just a bunch of bullshit, okay? And then, again, it's over stupid organic lemons, $4 fucking. Um, and I said to that manager, so-and-so can take his little lemons, shove them up his ass. That's not a threat. It's bullshit. If anyone calls that a threat, it's a figure of speech. But it was over the phone an hour later. It wasn't in person. It wasn't a threat. It was just a figure of speech. Oh, you're going to start threatening my associate now? And then he hung up on me, and I never got the last names. I still filed a complaint over the phone without the last names. I had the first names. That was enough. I said I don't want to hear back from anybody. I'm just going to take my business elsewhere. I'm never shopping there again, even though I shopped there for 10 years. The whole point is they're pissed at me. They're not pissed. They don't give a fuck about me taking advantage of a policy that they opt into or they set up or they whatever. They were pissed because whenever I went in there, which wasn't all the time, but it was enough, the Breakstone cottage cheese doubles that my mother and I love. I shouldn't eat them, but it's something I eat that's not organic. Anyway, every time I went in there, it wasn't every 6 months, it wasn't even once a month. Sometimes it could be a couple of weeks later. They were on the shelf expired. And it wasn't just one, it was 10, 15, 20. And it hadn't expired the day before, where you could say, okay, well, maybe they were short-staffed and they couldn't know. Some of them had been expired for weeks. Yeah, I'm pissed. Yeah, I want them off the shelf. If I don't do that, if I don't care enough to bring them all up to the service desk and bother the employees at the service desk, which was at least once that asshole who wanted to treat me like shit. Didn't treat me like shit over the phone. It was when he saw me in person. Okay, but you see, you're focusing on one thing that I'm not doing anything wrong whatsoever. Okay. In terms of you opting into something that all the major stores I shop at opt into, including ones that don't focus on groceries like Walmart and Target. They all opt into this. And I even had a manager, like I said, tell me that, oh yeah, I lived in a different state where they were even more generous than you get one item free if an item rings up. You don't get them all. If you buy 20 of something and they ring up wrong, you get it for the price that it's supposed to be on the sign, and you get one of the items free. Big whoopee-doo. Okay? These stores are fucking, CEOs are rich. Okay? Who cares? They opt into it. The fact is, if the CEO of any of these stores knew that the Breakstone cottage cheese, I could get this store in trouble having these things expired on the shelf. Cottage cheese, you take your chances. I've bought cottage cheese before in a tub that was gonna expire. The next day I took a chance and it was bad. I had to return it and get my money back. Okay, so you don't have expired. People don't look at dates, especially these days. Especially with the pandemic, people have to where that they want to get out of there as soon as possible. They're trying. They don't bother even looking at the dates. You don't have this shit on the shelf expired. You're not doing your job. So they were secretly mad at me for annoying them and bringing them all up there, and it's